Hello and welcome to your first freshman group guidance counselor lesson. Everyone should have a worksheet in front of them that looks like this. Go ahead and print your name and your student ID number. And if you know the last name of your counselor, go ahead and write that in. And if you don't know their name, that's okay. We're going to collect this and we will fill that in for you. So today you'll learn more about what group guidance is, kind of over the next few minutes. But first, we're going to start with a quick video. You may or may not have seen this popular clip either on a commercial or through YouTube, but I just encourage you to really think about this clip as you watch it, and we'll come back to it at the end of the lesson.
เขาจะได้อะไร ถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวัน เขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลย ไม่ได้รวยขึ้น ไม่ได้ออกทีวี ไม่มีใครรู้จัก ไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้น เพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้ คือได้แค่ความรู้สึก ได้เห็นความสุข ได้เข้าใจ ได้ความรัก ได้สิ่งที่เงินซื้อไม่ได้ ได้โลกที่สวยงามกว่าเดิม ในชีวิตคุณ อะไรคือสิ่งที่คุณต้องการมากที่สุด
Did you catch the last question? It said, in your life, what is it that you desire most? Keep that question in mind while we talk for the next few minutes, and we'll come back to that question before you leave. We're going to begin by talking about purpose. The word purpose. Before talking about how purpose relates to group guidance and the role of your counselor and the role of you in school, let's take a minute to think about what the word purpose means. Go ahead and take your worksheet. The first point there says, my definition of purpose. Take a couple minutes and write a definition of the word purpose. Okay, your advisor is going to pause the video and ask for a volunteer or two to share their definition of the word purpose. So the dictionary defines the word purpose as the reason for which something is created or done, or for which something exists. Purpose should really answer the questions, why was this created? Why am I doing this? Why does this exist? So today's your first group guidance lesson. Group guidance are the kind of the curriculum or the lessons that your counselor will instruct groups of you in over the course of your whole time at Leiden, so from freshman year through senior year. So this year you'll meet with your counselors in a group setting like this 3 times. And you'll do the same in your sophomore year, your junior year, and your senior year. The purpose of group guidance is ultimately to help you find success while you're in high school and also have success after high school. So let's talk about why we created group guidance. The Student Services Department at both East and West Leiden each have a mission. They're very similar. Let's take a look at both of them. At East Leiden, the mission for students is that all East Leiden students will have equal access to navigate post-secondary options and be empowered to have a post-secondary plan in place when you graduate. West Leiden, it's very similar, to empower all West Leiden students to develop a post-secondary plan that explores all college and career options. Ultimately, counselors want to make sure that after going through 4 years of high school, you have as many options to choose from as possible so that you know what you are going to do after high school, or at least what your next step is to get to where you want to go. We really want you to have a plan in place when you graduate. If you look at both of these missions, what 2 words are most important in the 2 missions? They're highlighted, obviously, options and a plan. So going back to those questions about purpose, we talked about why group guidance was created and why you're doing this, but let's talk about the purpose of counselors also. Why do counselors exist? Counselors are available. You'll have your counselor all 4 years of high school so that you can have support in the 3 areas that you see here. So counselors will provide you academic support. So your counselor will make sure that you're taking the right classes, you're meeting graduation requirements, and also taking the classes that are going to prepare you for your plan after high school. They're going to also check in on you to make sure that you are meeting the course requirements and that you're building a successful transcript. Counselors also have the role to support your post-secondary plans. Remember, post-secondary just means after high school. So again, our mission is that you have a plan in place and you know what you're going to do after high school. So counselors will support you in all 4 years in developing that plan for after high school. And also, counselors are available to help support you with any social or emotional situation or kind of maybe it's a problem or even just things that get in the way of having that success in classrooms and in the classroom and after high school. If you're ever struggling with anything that's just getting in the way of you being as successful as you can be, your counselor is there to support you and help you. Our number 1 job is to make sure that you find success in your classes and also that you have a plan for your future. So I want you to take a look at the worksheet again. Counselors provide, and you can fill in the 3 supports that we provide: academic, social and emotional, and also post-secondary support. And after you write those 3 supports in, I want you to circle the type of support that you think you might need the most help from your counselor. And so circle one of those. you think you'll need mostly support for your academics, for your social and emotional well-being, or post-secondary? Circle the one you think you might need the most right now. Let's take a look back at the missions of student services here. The two most important words in both missions are the options and plan. Go ahead and write that on your worksheet as well. The two most important words in the group guidance mission are options and plan. So your counselor's role is to make sure that you have options to choose from when you get to senior year for what you're going to do after high school. So let's think about options. Some of you might recognize this as the ice cream store, Baskin Robbins, and they're really known for their options. They were like maybe the first ice cream store that said they had 31 flavors to choose from, a lot of options. Sometimes options can be overwhelming. When you have so many options, it's hard to know what to pick. But in terms of your future, we want you to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do after high school. So it's important to us that every single one of you have as many options as possible to choose from for your future after your senior year. So what are those options? Those options are the ability to be admitted into a college or be admitted into a trade or a vocational school. If you want to go straight to work, we want to make sure that you are prepared through all of the courses at Leiden and you are very employable and that you're the one selected when you apply for a job. The same is true with your options in the military. If you choose to go the military route after high school, we want to make sure that your transcript and your resume put you at the top of that recruiter's list. So again, while having a lot of options can sometimes be overwhelming, like when I go to the bread aisle at the grocery store, that's a lot of options. Sometimes you want to have a lot of options. That's like when you're ready to graduate from high school. You want to be able to choose your path and not be stuck in a path because you didn't create options. Right now, you might not know what your plan is after high school. That's very typical, and that's okay. So because of that, it's really important to do what you can each and every day with the support of your counselor to make sure that you are creating options for yourself. So while it's a counselor's job to help you have options your senior year, hopefully that you remember that you can create options for yourself. You may remember when the counselor visited the 8th grade school last year, we gave you a formula for success. We said that if you did 3 things, you would create a lot of options for yourself after high school. Let's take a look at what those are. Number 1, be here. So as long as you're at Leiden and your attendance is that 95% or better, you are going to create options for yourself just by default. Being here, being a part of the community, being a part of your classes, knowing what's going on, that's kind of the first step to creating options for yourself. Second part of the formula was just do your best. So whenever you're doing homework or taking a quiz or a test or working on a project, you're just giving your best ability. Sometimes doing your best means asking for more help from your teacher, using that student-teacher time at the end of the day, or maybe visiting the math or writing center to improve and help your best. That's what doing your best means. And finally, the third piece of the formula is to get involved. You'll create options for yourself when you really become part of the community. You volunteer, you join a club or a sport or an activity. Getting involved will open up doors and options for you after high school. So take a look at your worksheet again and go ahead and fill in the 3 kind of pieces of the formula that will create options for you. So what can you do to create options? Number 1, be here, fill that in. Number 2, do your best, do my best. And number 3, get involved. After you write those down in the spaces provided, I also want you to share with your counselor which area you think you might need the most support in. So circle the one that you think you might need the most help from your counselor. Is it your attendance, being here? Is it the ability to do your best in your classes? Or do you need help with understanding how to get involved? Circle the one that you think you need the most help in right now. So you'll have a lot of help along the way in developing your plan for after high school. So you don't have to remind or be worried about how to keep track of everything you need to develop your plan. You will have a My Plan document that you'll use throughout the 4 years through advisory to help you set goals, to plan your classes, to track all of the activities you're involved in, and also to organize your options and ultimately what it is that you're going to do after high school. So those times in advisory are very important, and we want you to take that very seriously because ultimately your purpose, again, is to find success now and also after high school. And finally, we talk a lot about success in high school and success in your classes and later on in life, but we want you to know that counselors understand that there is a much greater purpose to your life than school, or even your education or your opportunities. Each one of you have a purpose in life. Each one of you have a greater purpose. So we're really interested in what that means to you. So you'll remember from the video, the last question is, or was, what is it that you desire most? So I want you to think about that and go ahead and look at your worksheet and let your counselor know right now in your life, what is it that you truly desire most? All right, thank you so much for taking part in this lesson. Take a look at your worksheet and make sure that your name and your ID number are clearly printed on your worksheet and that you have it filled out with all of the prompts that we went through in today's lesson. Your counselor is going to get a copy of this worksheet to better get to know you and is really excited to work with you over the next 4 years.